changed driver side engine mount on XR5 RS Mark II. This car's had an aftermarket torque mount fitted into it, and the customer complaint is excessive vibration. Now, whenever you fit a new upgraded mount, you are going to feel more vibration through the car as a trade-off of it being a stiffer mount. This vibration should dissipate though over time, but sometimes it's really severe, so due to the age of the cars, you've got to start looking at the other mounts. So this is a brand new engine mount. As you can see, it has this perfectly inverted dome. If your engine mount doesn't have this perfectly inverted dome anymore, she's on her way out. I'm going to put a bottle of water on the car, run it at idle with the aircon off, and then run it with the aircon on, just to show you the amount of vibrations, and then we'll do the same again afterwards. Really simple video, really simple thing to do. You only need a jack, a 15mm socket, a ratchet, and a torque wrench, pretty much, on some axle stands if you're not using a hoist. But yeah, dead simple. We'll run you through it. So we're going to be lifting up the coolant expansion tank, and you've got these two coolant hose A and coolant hose B that I call them, and they're clipped in. Strongly advise you just unclip them. Otherwise, you can break these plastic clips, which is quite hard to come by. So literally just lift them up, slide them up like that. The expansion tank itself is held in with a clip here and a clip at the back. It's easiest to grab it at the back, lift it up at the first one, and then just give it a wiggle, and she pops out all the way. Move her over to there, and that then gives us access to our mount bracket here. Next, we've got two 15mm bolts. One here that goes straight into the chassis rail. So you want to crack these off. Using a bar, obviously, because they're going to be pretty tight. Take this bracket off. Now, as you can see, this is no longer a perfectly inverted dome. I'm not sure if you're able to see it because of the zooming, but if you push it around, you can see the splits. So this is what's called a hydro mount. So it's liquid filled, and basically when the mount starts to fall apart and the liquid comes out, it stops absorbing the vibrations. So you can see it's got a big split there. She's starting to come around in this corner too, and this little valve bit's all wet. Normally there's a nice silver ball there. So we've taken out these two bolts. Now we need to raise the car and support the engine from underneath. So to support the engine from underneath, you want to use a trolley jack with a block of wood. The block of wood's important so that you're not putting hard steel against a cast alloy. I tend to put it right. Okay, now you're just going to jack the engine up a little bit further so that this mount is no longer putting pressure on the chassis leg. Now you can crack off these two 15s. And fully remove them. Once you've fully removed them, you can jack the engine up a little bit more, and that will then allow us to just lift our mount up and get it out. So now you can see close up, that's pretty munted. Slide our new one in, and refit our bolts. Now, you've got two different lengths of bolt. The ones with the washers go into the chassis rail. The long ones with no washer and just a shank, there it goes into the engine. Don't mix them up. Now, like always, you want to start this thread by hand. Steel bolt, alley housing. Now we're going to torque these two bolts. Now we're going to put our top bracket back on. It only fits one way because of the little cutouts. And we're just going to start the thread on these. Now that we've started the thread, we can drop the engine down fully. And before you tighten them, you just want to have a look at the witness mark. Now, a witness mark will be made from the original mount. You'll see a little mark in the paint. You want to line it up so it's in the same position. Because the holes are larger than the bolts, you can actually move the engine back a couple of mil and you can move it forward a couple of mil. If you end up putting the engine too far back, your intake pipe can rub on stuff. If you end up putting it too far forward, your throttle body pipe is going to rub on stuff. So you want to put it back in exactly the same position as it was before. Spin these bolts all the way up. And now use a torque wrench on them. Fully remove your jack. And now just clip your coolant hoses back in. Job done.